The Stray That Saw the Storm. A short story from the collection entitled The Book of Eldritch Whispers by E.S. Wynne. When the clouds roll in, thick and full of black promise, the cat is nowhere to be found. The cat knows these clouds. The cat has seen these clouds before. Quick as the shadows of the fleeting dusk, the cat races for a familiar culvert at the edge of the city, bounding half-panicked for that familiar darkness. Yellow eyes flash as the cat turns to watch the clouds, tucks tail around itself and waits for what it already knows will come. Tired of searching for the stray, for the little visitor she finds some solace in feeding. A lonely woman leans against the wall by the door to her apartment balcony, the unlit stick of a cigarette bouncing between index and middle finger. In her eyes, too, the approaching clouds seem ominous, but only in the way that a storm pregnant with rain, with gritty snow, or flashing lightning might seem ominous. In her eyes, the clouds herald a cleansing, a deluge to sweep the city clean, wash the stinking trash out of the gutters, the sewage from the darker corners between concrete flats and asphalt alleyways. Briefly, she hopes the stray will find shelter from whatever the coming storm carries in its rumbling bowels. A lighter clicks, flares with flame, leaves the cigarette glowing between wrinkled lips in the falling dark. A long, tired draw of smoke comes, then a deep sigh, the lingering, echoing cough as she hugs thin arms against her skeletal chest. No moon rises with the fall of night. No shine of stars is visible through the thick ocean of stirring storm as it spreads out over the city, seems to slow, settle, stretch. Windows slide and snap shut as tired slaves of the workaday world yawn and stumble off to bed, off to unsettled slumbers haunted by dreams of clients, of customers, and frantic cash register moments. House cats, curious, creep to cold and shivering glass, stare up wide-eyed at the heavy clouds, their instincts telling them that something is wrong, that the clouds carry something more than a storm, something darker, something to be feared. But only the stray knows. Only the cat that has fled to the outskirts of the city, to a place beyond the reach of the storm, knows what the clouds will bring, what they have brought in times before. When the first drop falls, it goes unseen, unheard, thick, gelatinous. It splatters across the roof of a parked car, quivers with quiet life. In the seconds that follow, more drops fall, patter across narrow, quiet, one-way roads, shiver and flex in the inky night. On her balcony, the lonely woman notes the sudden change in the air, in the sounds of the city, takes the fall for rain but doesn't stub out her cigarette, doesn't go inside. A chill gust makes her hug her oversized shirt tighter to her chest. I'll wait for the stray, she thinks, takes another long draw from her cigarette, half hoping the cat might come running in from the rain, might stay with her, keep her company, even if only for the night. Silent, her eyes lose themselves in the darkness, in the roiling, almost writhing cloud cover. Her mind drifting, she notices only the increase in the rainfall, doesn't see the way it moves, the way it spreads, flexes across the asphalt and gathers itself into thick and quivering puddles. Locked in houses, in apartments throughout the city, cats trapped by glass and steel begin to growl as one, ears flattening back, tails swishing, and then a great crack of thunder sends them flying, yowling, hurling themselves from window sills to seek shelter in the dark, narrow corners between walls and furniture. In the quiet culvert, even the stray gives a tiny, wary sound, licks lips apprehensively. On the balcony, the thick rain slides off into the street-like slime, but the lonely woman doesn't notice, waits just under the lip of another balcony, watching red lights strobe from streaming towers. With a sudden clap of thunder, the steady patter becomes a deluge, and in the unseen streets, shadows gather and surge with heaving liquid life. Tides rise, shapes that separate from puddles, split with hungry, yawning maws as hunting tendrils probe gutters and grates, sweep out, reaching, eager, seizing bits of discarded meat, roadkill, the offal of the street. Pet doors rattle, and even as a chorus of small dogs start to bark here and there in the city, something silences them before they can growl or yelp, leaves only a sticky film in its wake. One by one, the lights of the city begin to snuff out, some popping suddenly, sizzling or sparking, while others only dim, smothered by the rain, by the arms of the surging storm. In their darkened crawl spaces, the house cats of the city watch in silent terror as rolling limbs of liquid darkness rise across windows, slide along the seams between frame and wall. Like tentative tongues, the limbs press in against glass, against stucco and brick, flatten in their hungry search, slide away again, unsatisfied. All through the night, the storm rages. Streets fill up, surge as fleshy rivers stir over tarmac in chaotic currents, touching everything, tasting everything. Huge, sweeping limbs slide thick and wet into the storm drains, press heavy against creaking doors, sate themselves only on what they can easily reach, easily seize and drown, drag back with them into the night. Only in the scant hours before dawn does the storm finally begin to calm. Like a great beast well fed, the searching rain grows sluggish, gathers itself into tight knots that collapse slowly into fog, into rising mist. When the sunrise finally comes, the clouds and the mist drift away as if driven, scatter to the edges of the fleeing dark like packs of jackals before the roar of an approaching predator. The first pale rays of daylight finger through the streets of the city, and the last vestiges of fog fade until only a thin, steaming film is left to mark the passing of the rain. In the wake of the storm, the day unfolds like any other day. Families wake to the cries of bleeding alarms, stumble into showers, into clothes, into routines. Only children seem to notice the few missing pets, the cats still crouched in corners, wild-eyed and terrified. But their wonder, their questions, only last as long as it takes for digital distractions to lure their eyes away, connect them to a greater world with wider concerns, more interesting questions than, what happened to Fido? Or what's wrong with Spot? School calls, work calls. And then the families disperse, the night's storm already forgotten, already lost in the fleshy currents of life, in the daily, droning movements of the wakening human hive. Only after the last misty, sticky traces of the rain have abandoned the city does the stray finally return, make remembered rounds with uncertain meows and twitching tail. The streets are clean, scoured of refuse, of rot, of meaty bits ripened by sun and time, but there are dishes of kibble here and there, waiting, put out with the stray or other still missing pets in mind. Hungry from having spent the night away, from shivering through the darkness in that distant culvert, the cat eats well, gorges itself at every stop it can reach before the day stretches toward dusk again, before that final stop, that balcony where the stray knows the lonely woman waits, cigarette in hand, smile on her weathered lips. But when the stray leaps from a roof to the railing at the edge of the balcony, something stops pause in the middle of their graceful canter. Eyes rise, nose twitching, sniffing the air. The dish is gone. There is no sign of the lonely woman. Curtains flicker with the drift of a chilly breeze from the open door leading into the darkness of the apartment. The cat's eyes move, searching, light only on the crumpled ends of cigarettes pressed into a glass ashtray, shift away again. A single quiet, almost mournful meow passes the stray's lips, and then the cat is gone again, moving on to other remembered stops, other balconies and back doors, where other little trays of kibble might be found, where other lonely souls might be waiting for a chance to smile at the stray, a chance to share a little comfort with the cat in the thin, shadowy hours before night falls again.